I got a surprising high number of people asking me to make a video about Yuri Bezmenov featuring in Call of Duty. And I already did. It's on my secondary channel. Please check it out. Please subscribe to it if you haven't. It's called Lack of Entertainment. All right, it's going to be a link into the pinned comment. But I want to do this in order to entertain you guys a little. Okay, so if you're unaware, Call of Duty is now showing to the mainstream Yuri Bezmenov in the trailer for the game. And Yuri Bezmenov was a defector of the KGB, went into the United States and warned people about subversion and demoralization. Basically, it includes the changing of words, changing of meanings, vilifying the police, and making the criminals look like they're heroes, look like they're good citizens. And a lot of people are pointing out it's like YouTube has been suppressing videos of Yuri Bezmenov for quite a while, and now you have Call of Duty just bringing him to the mainstream. And a lot of communists on Twitter are livid. They are absolutely upset. It's such a rich vein of salt. Now, I want to ask you not to contact these people. It goes without saying, right? Like, most of these people believe that contradicting them is harassment, and they believe that actual harassment is murder. So please just keep away from these people. Let's just, watch them from afar. Watch them from afar in their natural habitat, okay, without engaging. Now, if you are to ask any decent, sensible communist if the Soviet Union was real communism, they would say no. They would say, no, the USSR wasn't real communism, okay? But it's funny how they're willing to defend a game that portrays the Russians as being bad. Look at this, okay? Then they're gonna sanitize the Cold War by portraying the turbulence of the 60s and 70s as destabilization by the USSR, and not because the United States was an imperialist war machine, which the USSR clearly wasn't, looking to expand and maintain conservatism capitalism. The United States was built on capitalism. You have foreign influences trying to change that. The United States was in its right to defend itself from foreign influences. No, they are the good guy in this. They are being aggressed by the Soviet Union. And by the way, just because the Soviet Union didn't outright conquer nations but installed puppet governments, that doesn't mean it was less imperialistic. It's just that it had a different way of managing its empire. Do you think countries under the Iron Curtain could just do whatever they wanted without taking orders from Moscow? People that don't know history, look at this guy, Trash. This guy is from California now. Like, every single goddamn time. Who wants to play in the past, especially in a Black Ops game? Do you know how many people wanted to play World War I and World War II games again? Because the shooting is different. Like, it's a lot more based on aiming. You have less automatic weapons. There's more to reload, so it's a different strategy in it. There's a lot of people into that. So I think your criticism is a little bit for the wrong reasons. I think you just don't like that the game complains about communists. Not to mention, isn't like one of the Black Ops game, like the first one, set in the past anyway? But look at this guy, right? Here comes the moral objectivism, or girl, or whatever. Unless this is about America being evil and the USSR being right and good, and not at all what it was portrayed, I'm a bit pissed. LOL. 95 likes. Let's cut the crap with this objectivism for a bit, right? Because you could understand that maybe the game has been made by an American, so they have like an American point of view. People in the USSR thought communism is bad. People in Romania thought the communists were bad. We took shoes and beat the statues of the dictator after he was gone. I mean, the idea that the USSR was good, then why haven't people reinstalled communism? If 70% of the people in a democratic nation actually believe that communism is good, there is nothing you can do to prevent the uprising of communism. But no, people were thrilled when it fell. So it wasn't that just America was good. No. Like, they offered something that the communists are incapable of offering, which is why they have to use censorship, which is why they have to use changing of the definitions. America offers freedom. Now you may say, well, it's not the perfect freedom, it's not the utopia, but it's far more freedom than the USSR had. Jesus. And not to mention, like, look, this is why you shouldn't hire these people. And by these people, I mean people with a hammer and sickle, right? They don't know economy. Like, they're incapable of thinking about markets, all right? Like, they look at the market like they're the children, and they, when they get into the company, they look like they're the teacher. And instead of trying to make money for your company, they try to educate the masses at the cost and the expense of your own company. So do not hire these people. It's bad. No, seriously, it's going to be bad for your company in the long run. But, like, let me show you how they don't understand the markets, okay? The game is made by America. Who do you think is going to be the primary demographic? Who do you think is going to be the main selling point? People who will buy the game. Answer: Americans. Why would you make a game that pisses on America? Do you think I would buy a game that pisses on Romania? Like, why would I do that? You know, it's my country. Like, maybe the communists don't love it, but they're not the majority. If they were the majority, communism would already be in power, right? Because of democracy. But they're not. So, like, unless you want to sell this game to communists, and by the way, most of them probably don't even have money anyway. That's why they want to steal shit from other people. You need to have common sense. Look at this one, okay? One side commits 76% of the terror. The other wants free healthcare. Is that fair to you? Look how disingenuous these people are. Like, the problem with communists isn't that they want free healthcare. No. The problem with communists is that they want your house, they want your business, they want everything. I mean, we're talking about Russia, right? Because they constantly say, you know, they make this distinction between personal and private property. No one makes that distinction, all right? No, like, all property, personal, is still private, all right? Like, but no, in their ideology, like, they make the distinction. In reality, when the revolution happens, they forget that distinction. They immediately forget it. Like, do you think they will allow you to live in a 3 or 4 room apartment by yourself or with your kids? Of course not. You're going to live in a small matchbox apartment, like a dormitory, and you're supposed to be out and about working for the Soviet state anyway. So, you know, like, it's not the problem with the healthcare. There are countries that are communist which have healthcare, right? In fact, I don't even think the communists invented the idea of free healthcare, because it's not. Instead of paying for a tax insurance, you pay for the government. It's the same shit. But, like, I think it was a German that came up with the concept. And the reason he came up with the concept, he said that the free forces of the market do not apply to healthcare. Because, like, you go out there, you can see different refrigerators. You look around, you can compare the prices, you can compare the capabilities. And if you don't like any refrigerator, you don't have to buy one today. But when you're in a car crash and you're bleeding out, you don't have the time to compare doctors. You don't have the time to compare hospitals and prices and rates. You need to go to the closest hospital. So that's the reason the idea of public healthcare was introduced, and it initially was only for emergencies. But anyway, yeah, they are actually simping for the USSR, Stalin, and Lenin, unironically. And by the way, there's memes nowadays saying that Karl Marx, and I'm not making this up, like, it's legit. There are communists saying that Karl Marx and Lenin would vote for Joe Biden. And I'm like, is this what you want to go with? Like, do you think it's like making a meme showing that Hitler would vote for Trump? Like, that would not be an endorsement. It's a Call of Duty. The story will be something like USA heroes and the commies are the baddies. Well, duh. You know, like, the thing is, like, what these people are saying, one side commits 76% of the terror, right? And there's more people like him. Oh, and another thing, it's like, this tells me Donald Trump is Perseus. I mean, I just don't even know what to say. But there was an American which told me there are 2 types of Americans now. You have Americans that love their country, and then you have the Democrats. And I kind of see why. Like, if you have, like, these people that are openly Marxist. They openly have the hammer and sickle. And they demonize the United States without understanding that the United States, the reason, like they can't even make the argument why the United States is good. You know, they view the world different than us. Like when you tell me about bad things in Romania, I compare it with other countries. I compare it with other places in the world. And you need to travel. You need to actually, engage with multiculturalism in order to make these comparisons. Because I don't believe Romania is a bad country. Okay? Even though it's not the first world country and there's a lot to improve, like I still compare it with other countries in order to see, all right, well, would I like to live there or not? Communists compare it with an utopia. They compare it with how the perfect society would be. And if it's not like the perfect society, then that country needs to be destroyed. They're revolutionaries. If they were to engage with the system and just say, well, this can be changed and that can be changed, then it means the system can be fixed. They're not there to fix the system. They're there to destroy the entire system, regardless of how many human lives and hardship that would cost. But the argument for America is that it offers liberty. And I like its constitution offers a degree of liberty more than any other country does. When you live in the Soviet Union, or when you live in Nazi Germany, or when you live in a theocracy, whether that is Islamic or you live, let's say, in China, the government tries to control your actions, tries to control what you think. The people there, they create this web of bureaucrats that are allowed to tell people when they get stuff or when they have to wait. It's complete control over an individual's life. You are basically turned into a drone. All of these communists, they're probably aware of it, but they believe that they're going to be either the ones in power or they have like some version of communism, like, there's so many dumb branches like democratic socialism or, like whatever the fuck they have. It's like saying, oh, well, I'm not a Nazi, I'm a democratic Nazi. It's just like, it smells of farts, doesn't it? But my point is, they either believe that their branch of communism, which has never been tried, is going to be perfectly fine and it's going to work, or they believe that they're going to be in power and they're going to be in charge. That's why they advocate for it. In reality, if you actually start the communist revolution, there is no guarantee that your branch of communism is going to be the one that actually wins the revolution. And secondly, I almost guarantee to you that if you're the type of person that sits on the Twitter, has no money in their bank account and no political influence, you're not going to be the person that's going to even remotely be next to the inner party members. No, you're going to be a drone, you're going to be oppressed, and when you realize the horrors that you brought, exactly like Yuri Bezmenov here says, you're going to realize you are a useful idiot, and the communists will either send you to the gulag or have you lined up against the wall and shot, because you are the person that brought upon the revolution, and now that they're in power, they don't want a second revolution. It's time for normalization.